So, do you want to be a Dogecoin millionaire? Of course, why not? We all should be millionaires. What's up, YouTube community? Welcome to InvestDash. This is your number one cryptocurrency channel, bringing you the latest news, updates, and forecasts every single day, live, right at bringing you the latest Dogecoin news, and of course, other cryptocurrency, but primarily I focus on Dogecoin. My name is Syed, and I welcome you. Welcome back to this channel. If you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, and if you're returning, perfect. Welcome back once again. Our goal today, just like every day, we do our weekly roundup. We summarize the entire past week with our portfolios and see how we actually did. The dips and the highs, or the lows and the highs rather, the average cost of Dogecoin, which we cover essentially every single day. So stay tuned and let's go check it out right in our Excel spreadsheet. And I do this every week, by the way. So if you're new, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification so you get the latest updates, because we keep track of all these prices moving forward every single day. And right now I'm going to do a recap for the last week. Of course, a lot of breaking news, a lot of new developments for the entire week. And of course, we'll check out the price too and see what our positions are, okay? Whether it's a long position, short, and how well our portfolio is performing and where it is moving forward. So let's go check it out. All right, so welcome back. We are going to do a recap of our last week performance, and let me get this easier that way. Perfect. So this is our spreadsheet that we keep track of. We also did, we're keeping track of it since last week, by the way. So this is the week ending from March 1st to March 6th, which is from Monday through Friday, of course. And what I've done is, of course, as usual, I put together a very simple spreadsheet just to give you the idea of how things move, what these things are, what the highs are, what the lows are for the last week, okay? So, and of course, today we'll be focusing on if you would like to become a Dogecoin millionaire, right? Together we will, right? All of us on this channel. So I welcome you once again. Thank you for your support. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new, or if you're returning, hit the like and comment also. So let me set up my comments. I think I already set those up. All right, so this is our spreadsheet for March 1st to March 6th. So let's start with the first, which is the March 1st, the highs and the lows. Okay, so let me open it up here. Perfect. So when the week started, right, that was Monday, it opened with, of course, 0.048. That was the price. And of course, it ended at 0.05 until March 6th, right? That was the opening. And apart from all the highs and lows and close, and of course, some adjustments, you'll notice I've, of course, calculated the average. We're just working at the averages. And this is the reason why I do this is because so you can do your dollar cost averaging on buying Dogecoin, because ideally you like to be able to buy low, okay, and to kind of maintain your low price range. And that's the easiest way to accumulate or to grow your portfolio. Just talking about Dogecoin, of course, there are other cryptocurrencies as well. So the average for the last week, which is March 1st to March 6th, 2021, the highs ended up to be 0.0517, right? Just rounding up to 4 decimals here. And then, of course, the low was the 0.0488. What's interesting is that the week prior, which was the week of February 22 to 26, right, which is right here, I got that from our last week's sheet, right? And this is 0.0516 as the high, and then of course 0.0488. So they are primarily identical. This is very, very supportive supportive in a sense that the price has been moving sideways, right? And that's what it's been holding for the last 2 weeks, pretty much, with all the dips. And we're going to talk about those too and what those are. But primarily, the prices have been just stable at 0.05 on average. The highs, and of course 0.048 as the lows. Now what that means is for the last 2 weeks, if the price dropped below the lowest point, which is 0.0488, let's say this is the average low, right? So let's take a look at what was the lowest point in March, or the last week, right? March 1st to March 6th. Dogecoin hit was 0.0479. Okay, this was on March 4th. That was the lowest point. Whereas in February, let me go back a week earlier, right? This is 2 weeks back. The lowest was 0.42. This is exactly when we bought it, okay? Or you should have bought it, or I bought it myself. And that was the point we were watching. Since I do stream every single day, so I'm actively monitoring Dogecoin every single moment, right? So every time something comes up, I have the limits set up on my accounts on purchasing, so they just buy it and I get an alert. Of course, I also stream and let you guys know. So this was the lowest. It went at 0.42, right? So and this is interesting because if you bought it at 0.42, and we know that at average, going back to March here, the lowest is 0.48. Well, not a whole lot of margin, but overall, when the price goes up to the high 0.05, right, and you bought it at 0.42, that's about 10-20% gain. Okay, so that's pretty high. So even if you are pumping and dumping, which of course we discourage, we're going to hold Dogecoin, right, accumulate at the lowest point in time. But even if you're doing that, okay, you're still gaining 10%, 5%, 10% every couple of weeks, or even every week. Now that translates to, over a span of year, quite a bit. Okay, so almost 60% return, 60 to 100% returns, depending on how much you're actively involved and doing trades on Dogecoin. Okay, but yeah, the good thing here is that for all of you guys who are holding Dogecoin, and let me know, put it in the comments if you're still holding Dogecoin. That'd be nice to know. And the average highs, even for last week, was 0.0516, 0.517 rather, for the week ending March 6th, and the week ending February 26th, it was 0.0516. So exactly, pretty much the same. Okay, and that was the highs, and the lows are also identical. And that tells you several key things. Okay, and what that tells you is that Dogecoin, despite the market movement in the last 2 weeks, right, the market has kind of been crashed a couple of times, not crashed, but had a huge dip. Bitcoin was up to $58,000. It's now at 47. So apart from all of the movement in the market, okay, even overall stock market, Dogecoin as a cryptocurrency is holding steady. Okay, and that's pretty cool in terms of the currency stability. Okay, and that shows that this coin is a stable coin, or at least for the last 2 weeks, we know, based on the price that you're looking at right here, that even the daily prices or the average, there has been some ups and downs. Of course, there has been some dips, but that's exactly what's happening. So this is pretty exciting. Okay. All right. So let me check some quick comments here. Welcome, Hector. Good morning. Good morning back to you. And then we got Brianna. I just watched a video on the Dogecoin cap denied. How does that affect the future of Doge? That's a great question. And we talked about Dogecoin capping extensively in I think yesterday or a couple of days ago in that stream. So if you want to check that out, please do so. But yeah, that's a good question. So the short answer is that we talked about the cap, right? So if there's no cap, that means there's more supply of Dogecoin, and that brings the price, that keeps the price rather low. Okay, because of the design of the coin itself, the developers designed this coin to be an inflationary design. That means unlimited supply, so to speak. That means the price is going to keep low, right? As soon as it is capped, it is going to be like Bitcoin, where it's going to be limited supply, and all of a sudden demand is going to be higher at any point in time, which is going to drive the price way up, just like Bitcoin. So Brianna, the focus here, short answer to your comment, is that the purpose of Dogecoin is to become a people's crypto. Okay, and that's what Elon Musk has been backing this coin up with, the same concept, and other individuals also. Okay, so I hope that kind of answers this comment. But yes, that's a good point regarding the coin cap of Dogecoin. We would like it to be be adopted mainstream, and I'm going to cover all these, of course, news for the entire last week, because we are summarizing the entire week, where coin flip ATMs are now being accepting Dogecoin, right? Which is a network of over 1,800 ATMs all across the United States with 45 plus locations, and that's pretty neat. And not only that, CoinFlip's CEO offered Elon Musk to place these ATM machines that can transact in Dogecoin into Tesla stores. So that was also another breaking news development last week. And then, of course, we know that Dallas Mavericks, right, Mark Cuban's team, is also selling tickets, and you can use Dogecoin to buy those tickets, and that's really making history, so to speak, with Dogecoin being implemented, apart from other news that we've covered last week. But these are the major developments for the last week or two. And then, of course, Coinbase going public, the crypto exchange going public, the regulatory framework. We talked a whole lot about last week, lots and lots of things, because we stream every single day, and I bring you the latest news updates and developments, and not just speculation. Okay, of course, it's always there, but the idea is that we would like to have it a solid base for Dogecoin to grow into a people's crypto. So welcome if you are just joining. We're talking about our last week's recap. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, guys. I thank you so much for your support, and hit the like button and the bell notification, of course, if you want to stay up to date with all the developments of Dogecoin. The primary focus for myself on this channel has been Dogecoin for the last 2 weeks, and we've been focusing on all these, keeping track of course, the prices and the average cost. And dollar average costing is important, because that helps you get to a dip and then buy at the dip, right? So overall, if your price is lower, which means if you were to buy at 0.0479, which is a little high price, but it went down all the way up to 0.042, which was last week. So if I were to bring up February performance here, from February 22nd to Feb 26th, which was a couple of weeks ago, the lowest point is right here. Okay, let me color code it. There we go. So this was the on February 23rd, Dogecoin hit the lowest in the entire 2 weeks. This is the only time it went down as low as 0.042, right? So that means, of course, I bought it, and I'm sure many of you bought it. And let me know, put it in the comments, whether you had the opportunity, whether you missed this or not. Okay, but that's really what this was, and this was a price, and the margin is pretty nice, because if I were to let's say this is 0.0424, so let me go back here to our March and enter 0.0424. Okay, and then of course the highest, which has been I believe, let's check it out, let's see, it's 0.0524 in March. And let's go back to February and compare that. It actually went up to 0.057. But let's say you bought it at February 23rd, right? Because of course we have to move forward from Feb 23rd onwards, right? And then let's go back to March quick here, and let's say last week you decided to maybe at 0.0524. Okay, so I'm going to enter this amount here, 0.0524. Guess what? This is about 23.58% return in about 8 days. Okay, 8 or 9 days. So, and that's exactly what it is. So if you had invested $5,000, right, when it hit the lowest point, which was 0.0424, guys, right, and you sold it at 0.0524, which was March 2nd, that's about 23.58% return. So if you invested $5,000, you would have made $1,179 in a week's time. I don't know if you're pumping and dumping. Yeah, that's, you could, that these numbers are real. Okay, these numbers are absolutely real. It's just a matter of you keeping track of when the price hits low and when the price hits high. And this channel, by the way, I do this every day, so check out my streams every single day. I'm always on top of Dogecoin because this channel is designed, I've designed this just for specifically Doge. As we grow into the next coming months, next coming years, we'll be doing this every single day, keeping track of this, do a weekly update. And then if you're doing, because I've, myself, I have two portfolios. One I'm holding long-term, and of course, one is short-term, apart from other portfolios that I use regarding, active stocks and bonds and whatnot. So, but primarily speaking of Dogecoin cryptocurrency portfolios, my active portfolio that I do, this is what the numbers are. Okay, and these are just real numbers. You could have made $1,200 in a week, something like that, week or 8 days, 10 days. Okay, let's say for the last week, just look at March. Let's do another example here. So in March, the average low was 0.0488, and of course the 0.0517, right? This was the lowest. So if you were just to invest last week, let's say from March 1st to March 6th, right? Just last week. Let's check out the lowest dip that we had. Now, of course, you may not be able to catch the exact time, the lowest, unless you're actively sitting in front of the computer, right, 24/7. But I'm just giving an example that how Dogecoin is performing for the last 2 weeks as compared to other cryptocurrencies. Okay, so let's pick a number here. Let's pick the lowest for Dogecoin, which has been 0.0479. Okay, and then we are going to go ahead and input the highs here first. Let's pick up the high here, which is 0.0524. Okay, so let's try it out. 524. Okay, and then the lowest was, of course, 0.0479, right? 0.0479. Oh, I had it backwards, guys. Sorry about that. 0.0479, and then this was 0.0524. All right, so this is the average. I just took the average prices, or the lowest price rather, for just last week. That's about almost a 10% return. All right, so now 10% on $5,000, you would have made about $481 last week. That's it. Okay, so 10% just last week. So if you continue to do this every week or every 2 weeks, or depending on how you're doing, or even every day, if you're a day trader, you could imagine the yearly returns. Okay, on average, we know that an average stock portfolio in 1 year grows about 8 to 10%. That's exactly what it is, and this number is just higher in just 1 week. Okay, so definitely the Dogecoin is going to make you a millionaire, not only in short term that I'm just demonstrating here, right? You can see it. These are real numbers, guys. okay? But even long run. So let's say my other portfolio that I have, my average cost is of course way lower than 0.04, but let's hypothetically speaking is 0.04, and Dogecoin goes to 10 cents, and you invested $5,000 at 0.047, right? 4 cents. And this goes to just 10 cents. And of course, that's where it's heading, right? There's going to be a breakout soon. I'm going to talk about that as well and show you some charts. So that's 100% return. You're going to earn about a little over $5,000. If it just goes to 10 cents, you can double your investment, okay? So again, if it goes to $1, that's also been talked about, and we've seen there's greater evidence that this cryptocurrency is going to move to that. Your $5,000 is going to become $100,000. Okay, so the idea is that yes, Dogecoin will make you a millionaire, and of course it could be reversed too. It could go down and crash and whatnot. But if you look at the distribution of Dogecoin, and we've been watching that closely also, a couple of whales have been selling. They've sold, which is nice, because as it becomes more adopted in the community with companies, with organizations, just like we've seen. The last two days was just breaking, and even Elon Musk tweeting right now. So let me just go back to a tweet quick so I can show it to you. There it is. So Elon Musk once again came up with, Doge spelled backwards is EGOD, right? EGOD. And he says, it's my favorite to celebrate the adoption of digital currencies. I have a crypto gift. So even Elon is basically, his vision is what? The adoption of digital currencies, which is inevitable, guys. This is going to happen. And I've been talking about this for the entire 2 weeks, every single day. I always give an example, just like, Windows came about in early 90s when I was there, right? I was an early adopter of Windows. And my colleagues, I was working at an investment bank at that point in time, early 90s, and my colleagues used to say, well, the keyboard, this is going to stay, and the mouse and the Windows and the GUI interface is going to go away. So they didn't really, like it at that point in time. And guess what? See where Windows is today. I know it's been a long time, but just like Bitcoin, where was Bitcoin? Nowhere. Okay, nowhere. And even though Bitcoin, started to pick up, it crashed a few times during its journey. Okay, so the idea is that even though they're two different beasts, right? Dogecoin is different, and Bitcoin, Ethereum are different. Okay, so I don't want to compare. I want to compare apples to apples rather. These are apples and oranges, because the design of Bitcoin, it serves a different purpose, and Dogecoin is going to serve a different purpose, even in its technical design. And we talked about that, also covered that. For example, the two major ones, of course, are that first, Dogecoin transaction verification is less than a minute, which is great. The other one, of course, that it is inflationary in design. That means there's more supply. That's why you don't see a price, jump up. There's not a whole lot of volatility. At least for the last 2 weeks, we've seen it's been very, very stable. And Bitcoin being a capped coin, which means there's limited supply and more demand, so the price goes up, and that's just the law of supply and demand, and that's how exactly the stock market works in layman terms. Okay, but yeah, so this is exciting. Just news also I wanted to share quick, that Elon Musk also, of course, is supporting. It says Doge, it is my favorite, right here. And he wants the adoption of digital currencies. So not just a currency, but of course, he's after multiple currencies. And we also covered last couple of weeks, very important differentiation aspects of Ethereum, of Bitcoin, and Dogecoin, because these are the three most popular ones right now. Okay, even though Dogecoin is ranked about 14 on the chart here, but in terms of popularity, Dogecoin is number 3. Okay, which is exciting. So if Dogecoin becomes accepted as people crypto, which it is, and it's designed, is positioned just to serve this purpose, there's no stopping, right? So that's exactly what we've been covering last week. And here's the summary again. And of course, Elon Musk yet reaffirming his support for the Doge currency, because he wants the adoption of digital currencies moving forward. The United States government, for example, the Federal Reserve, they're working on the digital dollar, by the way. We covered that also, so go check out that stream. And they're working with MIT to come up with their own blockchain, perhaps where they can offer their own digital dollar. MasterCard CEO, we talked about that. He's looking for a stable cryptocurrency to be integrated on the MasterCard infrastructure. So what that would mean, that you would take your MasterCard, right, your credit card or your debit card, and you would be able to transact in a cryptocurrency. And most likely, of course, it could be Bitcoin, could be any other altcoin, but the focus, of course, the ideal suited scenario would be a coin that is stable, okay? And that's what it is. And also last week, of course, developers started to work on, they came up with the minor updates also to the software, so that was exciting. So all these developments last couple of weeks, or at least specifically last week, they happened, and that kind of caused the price to be stable. So Elon Musk is tweeting about this pretty much, so this is kind of nice, about him supporting, of course, Dogecoin. So let's get back to our Excel spreadsheet. And by the way, let's check out some comments here. Welcome to this channel. If you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. Of course, like and get those comments coming in. All right, welcome, Alex. Thanks for joining. You're holding 270K Dogecoins. Yes, more muscle power to you. That's exciting. Awesome. That's great to know. And of course, Donna, welcome back. Good morning from Australia. Yes, good morning back to you. Great to get broken steps, great to get broken sleep. It's 4:13 a.m. Sorry about that, but that's it's in the afternoon here. So yeah, the time zone. But welcome, anyways. Appreciate it. All right, so we're talking about the performance of last week and see how this is moving about. And we also did an example here that if you had invested $5,000 just on last week on the lowest point, which was 0.0478, and if you sold it the same week, right, the end of the week, for example, at 0.0524, which was one of the price, you would have gained almost about approximately 10% return, which translates to about $480 or $81 gain on a $5,000 investment. Okay. Now, of course, the higher the investment, the higher the returns. That's pretty simple. So if you had, let's say, $25,000 invested, just last week you would have made about $2,400. That's just 1 week. Okay. So again, that is only if you're day trading, and make sure there are a couple of portfolios that we're talking about here. One is for an active day trading portfolio that I have. The other one is just long-term holding, and that's for Doge, right? Just holding and accumulating at the lowest point. So I was able to buy, of course, last week or a couple of weeks ago, the week of February, right? Where the price dipped to 0.042, which was the lowest price. So let's verify this. There it is. So this was the lowest price, right? So I had a limit set. I hit the limit, and I bought it. So and of course you hold it. So this is again just summarizing last week's and then comparing it from the week earlier. The bottom line here is that the average price for March, which is the last week, is the same average as the week ending February 26th. So basically the last 2 weeks, Dogecoin has been just steady. Okay, on average, that's the average. It's just steady, absolutely performing at the same support line or the middle grounds. Okay, and it's not going down, it's not breaking at this point, but it's just holding steady. And we also talked about one of the principles in investing, as we talk about, where if the currency is stable for at least 4 to 5 hours, right? That means it negates the thesis of going down. That means it has to go up, right? It's at the breaking point, just like calm before the storm. And that's what we're hoping Dogecoin would do, because it's holding absolutely steady, right? And there are reasons for this market, right? It's holding steady. And of course, the reasons are very clear. We talked about all of these news, the developments of Dogecoin for the last week and two, right? And moving forward, I'm sure there'll be next week. I'll be excited to bring you additional news updates and the developments of Dogecoin as it is being accepted. For example, petitions are being, the future development is regarding Amazon to be able to accept Dogecoin, okay, and Walmart and other platforms. If that's the case, it's already in ATMs, right? We talked about that. I screened that yesterday, so go check out that video. CoinFlip, over 1,800 ATMs all across the U.S. So that's pretty exciting news. Okay, so we talked about the average cost. Here's the average cost, and I share this every single week. So if you want access to this Excel document, I'll be happy to provide. Just let me know. Put it in the comments. I'll put a link in the description as well, so you can check that out. And of course, be sure to like and comment, and of course, subscribe, guys. If you're new, thank you so much for your support. This has been great. I do this every single day, and then we do a weekly roundup. All right, so a couple of more things I want to talk about, the charts. Let's get into that. Before I do, let's go back to our comments. All right, welcome, David. 750,000 Doge, perfect, way to go. That's exciting. That's exactly what we are looking for. It's just holding Doge, waiting for Doge to be accepted more and more in the community. And that's exactly what we're looking at moving forward with Dogecoin. Okay, so perfect. This is awesome. This is great. All right, so let's navigate to, let me bring this up quick, and I'm going to bring up a chart here. So right now Doge is at about 0.050, again the same average, right? And you'll notice even just a couple of days ago on TradingView they had it neutral, right? This meter was at neutral, so the technicals now say that it's a good time to buy. Okay, which means that just because Mark Cuban's Dallas Mavericks will accept Dogecoin now moving forward, and other news that we just talked about, which is the last week's development, it sets a solid ground moving forward for Dogecoin. And that's exactly what this kind of meter also indicates. By the way, again, the decision is yours, and you already know that I'm not a financial advisor, but I do this for myself. I've been doing it for a long time. So the strategies that I use, that I share, so you can also benefit. So right now the technicals indicate that Doge is a strong buy. And if I were to bring this chart up, this was created by the bull market FX. You will notice that the demand, which is pretty stable, right? That's the average since the last couple of weeks, right? So what that states is that the average is 0.05. And we saw that, right? We just saw that in the Excel spreadsheet. Now, what's going to happen? The two things can happen. Based on this demand, right? The demand is stable. So it basically just like a floor level. It's a floor that has been set, right? And that's exactly what, the buyers, the investors are right here, okay? At this green platform, which is the average price of 0.05. Now, as demand increases, and how is demand going to increase, guys? This is exactly what, Dallas Mavericks accepting Dogecoin, ATMs accepting Dogecoin, getting into Tesla stores over the next week or two. If these developments continue to occur and happen, and more organizations accept Dogecoin, guess what? The demand is going to increase, okay? And that's going to, of course, help the price also. So the ideal scenario based on this particular analysis conducted by Bull Market FX means that it is going to now break out in a positive direction, which means at least to the max level, which was about 0.07, 0.08, it hit, last 3 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago. So if that happens, if this goes to 0.08, for example, let's check it out. Let's see what happens to our portfolio. So I'm going to go back to the Excel here. So let's say you bought it at 0.0478 and it goes next week to 0.08. Okay, so let's lower the investment. Let's not do 25,000, for example. Let's do 5,000 if you were just starting off. So by next week, if it goes to 0.8 cents, right, for example, where it already hit that benchmark, the upper limit, right? It was already there. You're going to be $3,300 richer just in the last couple of weeks or 3 weeks or a month, right? Something like that. So again, just only on a $5,000 investment. So that's really the power of Doge, the power of keeping track of your portfolio, your investments. And of course, this channel I've created just so that you can see that, okay? So make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. So every time I come up with this news, come up with an update, or even at the dips, I let you guys know. And of course, it's your own decision whether you want to buy it or you want to sell it. So it's, of course, it's your own strategy based on your own portfolios. All right, so let's get back to the news here. Let me bring this up quick. All right, so we talked about the Elon Musk tweet, of course, and we're taking a look at the chart. So this is the chart by Bull Market FX. So next step for this kind of stable demand, right? The stability of Dogecoin for the last 2 weeks, and we saw that, we saw the numbers. The next step is, of course, breaking out. Either it goes to 0.8 or even higher, go to 0.10, 10 cents, right? That's exactly where it's heading, where it should head rather, right? So that was one of the next technicals, right? And of course, it's a buy time, which means even if you buy at 0.5, which of course I think is a little high, but then again, just the demand is that it's buying, right? So people are buying, and it's perfectly set for next week to go up, according to, of course, the charts that you're seeing, based on the developments as well, like Mark Cuban and then all this other developments that we talked about. So let me know what you think. Put a comment and see whether you think that's going to be something worthwhile next week, with Dogecoin being a good buy at this point, or is it just something that we are going to still hold? Of course, there are two portfolios, right? We're holding one, and then we're doing some active trading on some other stocks like other cryptos. But this is exactly where we are with Dogecoin, and this is where it stands in terms of one of the charts, right? So it's a long position, perhaps, in other words, next week or two, or maybe a month, which is really short. It's not long at all, but in my opinion, it's just just short. For the last 2 weeks, we saw in our Excel sheet right here, the average price for the week ending March 6th, which was last week, right? Friday, yesterday, which is 0.0517 as the high and 0.0488 as lows. And the week prior to that, in February, it was 0.0516 and 0.0484. So look at the number. They're exactly the same averages for the last 2 weeks, whether it's March, the last week, or the week prior. So for the past 2 weeks, Dogecoin has been stable, and that's exactly what's indicated right here as a stable demand on this chart. So what's going to happen Monday, right? Or as we move forward into the next week? Well, of course, there should be a breakout, right? That's what we're hoping. The price goes back up to the same, 8 cent level where it was, where it touched about that. And this was on about 9, early on in February. So if it surpasses the 8 cents, it'll definitely hit 10 cents, okay? And that's what we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks based on all these developments. So as Dogecoin gets more accepted, guys, this is the key for this people's crypto, right? For this stable coin. It is a stable coin. It's designed to be that way. It's designed to be inflationary. And we've covered this. You want to go check out those videos on some of the technicalities of how it's designed, what developers are working on, and I showed you the GitHub code also. So the idea is that this coin, as a people's coin, in other words, you would be able to buy and sell just day-to-day things like grocery shopping, your gas in your car, food, anything, right? With Dogecoin as the cryptocurrency. And Elon Musk, we saw that. He just tweeted also that he wants to celebrate the adoption of digital currencies. Okay, and Doge spelled backward is EGOT, and that's exactly what Elon is also thinking. He's actually seeing. Of course, he's a visionary guy, right? And we all are. Why not? We can also see it happening where digital currency is the future. The United States governments, the governments all across the world, and we talked about that. With all these currencies that they're actually working on bringing into mainstream with dollar and other fiat currencies, right? And of course, we covered Bitcoin as being a different set of designed coin. Like Ethereum is different, and so is Dogecoin. And these are the three most popular coins, by the way, guys. Okay, even though Dogecoin is number 14, but it's the most popular. And why is it becoming popular? Because, of course, it's being accepted as people's crypto. Okay. So yeah, I wanted to cover the Elon's tweet, and of course we saw the charts. A couple of other things that I want to quickly also show you, so we know exactly where we are moving next week. So the technicals indicate that it's a buy at this point, of course, according to TradeView, because of course Mark Cuban's Dallas Mavericks will accept Dogecoin, which they made history. This is the NBA pro basketball team. They'll soon accept Dogecoin as payments, right? And coin flip ATMs, they have started to accept. Okay, and here it is. So Americans can now buy Dogecoin from 1,800 crypto ATMs across the country. How exciting is that? And the CEO of CoinFlip, by the way, this is CoinFlip ATMs, right here, CoinFlip, and he offered Tesla or Elon Musk directly in a letter, and I showed that letter yesterday. Okay, to be able to place these ATMs in Tesla stores. That's an exciting development too, and I'm sure Elon Musk would do it. Why not? He's already supporting Dogecoin. Okay. All right. So these are all the different areas that makes Dogecoin a solid, or puts rather Dogecoin in a solid position. Okay. All right. Buying at the dips. Now I did talk about that earlier, but I want to talk about it a little bit more because this is important. Because the reason why we talk about buying at dips is because you want to keep your dollar average costing of buying low, okay, as you grow your portfolio. So, and the reason why I bring up this Excel spreadsheets every week is so that we can evaluate the lowest point in time and how much you bought, so that you can average it out yourself. But what is the buy the dips? So buy the dips, you may already know, means purchasing an asset after it has dropped in price. Okay, now I know we all panic, right? Oh geez, it's going to drop, it's dropping, but that's actually in a positive manner. That's a good thing. Okay, for investors such as like myself, for example, because when the price drops, that's a good time to buy, right? So the belief here is that the new lower price represents a bargain, as the dip is only a short-term blip, and the asset with time is likely to bounce back and increase in value. And that's exactly what it does. Okay, so if you look at the last 2 weeks, there have been highs and lows, right? The dips and of course the highs. So that's really a good strategy. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. This is what I do for myself. I'm just sharing it what I do. Okay, so don't hold me to it, because buying dips can of course be tricky, right? The issue of knowing it's an actual dip or a full trend reversal. So again, that's something that you need to of course make sure figure out and yourself, guys. All right, so the logic behind the dips is really buying the dips refers to going long an asset or security after its price has experienced a short-term decline in repeated fashion. Okay, another logic is buying the dips can be profitable in long-term uptrends, but unprofitable or tougher during secular downward trends. And the third logic here is that dip buying can lower one's average cost of owning a position, and that's exactly what I strongly do it for myself. Okay, because that lowers my average cost of my position in this coin. But the risk and reward dip buying should be constantly evaluated, and that's what I do every day, right? That's how I put together this Excel spreadsheet. So again, we talked about the moving averages also, guys. I've covered this in one of the videos earlier, so you want to go check that out. The 275 10-day, depending on how you want to set this up. We talked about that also. So these are good strategies to use when you're talking about buying at the dip. Okay, and then of course, as long as you're averaging out a low buy in the long run, if you have a long position, it definitely helps. At least for myself, it has been. All right, so this is something I wanted to quickly share. This is exciting news. Also helping Dogecoin. Let's get back to our spreadsheet. So we talked about the last week's performance, okay? The average for the last week and even the week prior. For the past 2 weeks, Dogecoin has been pretty stable. In fact, almost identical, okay? All right, so last couple of things I want to talk about before we end. We talked about the Elon Musk tweet. There's something that a little bit relevant because China, we talked about, of course, Dogecoin mining also, where largest Chinese company, eBank International, they're going to be starting mining Dogecoin because they already mine Bitcoin. Okay, so we're going to talk about that too. We did talk about that, but China, of course, this last couple of weeks have been offering its own digital currency within China, right? So the digital renminbi will put every transaction onto the radar of the People's Bank of China. And that's exactly what China is doing, right? So China's at the forefront already. They've already come up with digital currency and implemented it. So the rest of the world is kind of like still evaluating or developing at least some kind of cryptocurrency, but it's inevitable. That's for sure, okay? And we can say this for sure because there's strong evidence that the entire world is moving towards cryptocurrency, right? Or digital currency in one form or the other. It's just a matter of time where every one of us will actually be using and transacting, or will have the option to transact in a digital currency. And Dogecoin is the people's currency, okay? That's how it's designed, and we know this, we've covered this. That's how it's set up to be. All right. And last, of course, couple of things, just the Dogecoin Reddit community, as always. Same thing, I already covered this most of the time. Nothing new here so far. So we are moving next week. Let's summarize. Let's take a look at where we are in terms of next week position. Let me bring that up. And let's check out. All right, perfect. So this was last week Dogecoin. We are going to go ahead and take a look at next week, and we're hoping that next week would be a solid bull run moving forward. Thank you guys for your support. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, of course, and like and comment. Today is, of course, Saturday. We are covering the entire last week of the performance of Dogecoin. We found that this has been pretty stable in terms of average highs and average low. They were identical almost for the last week of March, and of course the last week and week ending February. So with all the developments of Dogecoin moving forward in the next week or two, of course, my prediction, that's my personal prediction, is that Dogecoin is at the breaking point where it will definitely either hit the max point where it was at one time, which is 8 cents, or it will go to 10 cents or even higher. Depends on the developments, which are solid developments, not just speculations, not just a hype anymore, okay? So even though Doge started as a joke, right? But it's not. It has turned itself, and rather turning itself into a solid cryptocurrency with the ability to become a people's crypto, okay? That's why I have this guy up here, right? That's my Shiba Inu, okay? So you can say hello to this. All right. So once again, thank you guys for your support. I appreciate it. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. We did recap, so leave a comment if you have any. Moving forward next week, I'm super excited to even stream every single day, which I've been doing every single day, which I do every single day, to bring you guys the latest news, updates, forecasts on this channel, so you can make informed decisions for yourself. And of course, we talk about portfolios, whether it's your long-term portfolio or short-term portfolios that you're carrying. or you've created for yourself, and based on your own investments, you can then decide and make informed decisions. So with this, thanks so much again. I appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, guys, and keep that love and support coming. This is very, I'm super excited and super thankful, by the way, for to all of you. So with this, have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys